What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to CLAO's Network. Today I'm looking at the top decks of the qualifying phase of Players Cup 4 for the Pokemon trading card game online. The lists we'll look at have been submitted by players that have earned 100 tournament rep or more, so they're in a pretty good place to qualify for the top cut of their respective regions. If you're looking for PTCGO codes, be sure to head on over to potownstore.com, the best place to get PTCGO codes, and use code CLAO for 5% off. And if you need information on the Players Cup or the Pokemon TCG, you can check out Pokemon.com and also the rest of the videos on this channel as I upload Pokemon TCG content daily. So subscribe to the channel if you're interested in that. Something I'm adding to this series for Players Cup 4 is I'll be doing my personal picks of what decks I'm playing for the Players Cup events at the end of this video, as well as hot text that I'm noticing in lists. So without further ado, let's start looking at some deck lists for the Players Cup 4. Real quick, this is the Players Cup leaderboard. Pokemon.com has the leaderboard as well, but this is the link to a custom sheet code that @_Julian_ has made that's really handy for seeing how much rep you have and what the cutoff is in your region. So the first one we're looking at here is by Blake Pennington in North America with 100 tournament rep. We've got a Luke Metal Zacian deck with Aegis/V to ward off any Decidueyes they might come across. Metal Goggles is what you're usually playing in this deck, but they're also playing 1 Cape of Toughness as well, instead of just 4 Metal Goggles. 1 Power Plant, 1 Chaotic Swell, which is a bit of an interesting split. But Luke Metal doing pretty well here. Next, we've got Alonso Leva from Latin America with 124 tournament rep, playing Dragapult VMAX with the heal jamming Mimikyu, and also Scoop Up Block Mr. Mime. These are cards that we do not see a lot, and also Experience Share, Tool Scrapper. There's a lot of unusual cards in this list, but doing really well with 124 rep. And also note, just because somebody isn't in North America, they're still playing in the same pods that we all are. The pods are not region locked. Everybody plays in the same events. You just qualify differently based on your region. So really cool looking Dragapult VMAX list here from Alonso with 124 tournament rep. Here we've got Jake Santiago from North America with 101 tournament rep, playing Psychic Mewtwo. Psychic Mewtwo is actually a very strong deck right now and something I've been considering. I think it's pretty hard to play, so it's not something I would play without getting your practice and your testing in, but it seems super strong. Playing the Stealthy Hood, so Mimikyu with Shadow Box that is seeing play in Urshifu VMAX decks a lot. Stealthy Hood protects it from that. Also protects it from Giratina that removes Special Energy. As you notice, this deck heavily relies on Special Energy. So Psychic Mewtwo, a hard deck to play, but I think it's very rewarding. Next, we've got Julio Jimenez from Latin America with 101 tournament rep, playing Grass Mewtwo, Rillaboom Mewtwo, Eggroll Mewtwo, whatever you want to call it. Mewtwo's doing pretty well, as you may notice. So this deck is not playing Stealthy Hood. I do think the list could use a Stealthy Hood, especially since the list plays Guzmahala already to search out the Hood. Like I mentioned, the Mimikyu with Shadow Box is very popular for Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX decks, so probably something smart to play. But these Mewtwo decks typically have a higher skill cap because they have a lot of options. But yeah, so Julio doing pretty well with Eggroll Mewtwo. Next, we've got Joshua. You might know him as ZapdosTCG, a fellow YouTuber, a very great content creator. He's keeping it simple this time around, playing ADP Zacian, not sticking to his true love, the Blounds decks. But yeah, we got ADP Zacian here, looking pretty clean cut. But does have 4 Crushing Hammers. It's working out for Joshua because he's got 104 tournament rep. I'm personally not a fan of Crushing Hammers, but there's so much stuff that can succeed in this volatile standard format, so if it works for you, go at it. Joshua here getting 104 tournament rep with 4 Crushing Hammers and an ADPZ deck. Next, we've got Nico Alabas with a very interesting Cinccino Urshifu deck, earning 106 rep. And Nico is from Europe. Nico has his own YouTube channel, so if I don't link that, and I'll try to remember to link that. But also, just a heads up to anyone featured in this video, feel free to shamelessly promote yourself in the comments down below. Put your Twitter tag, your YouTube, your Twitch, whatever it is. If you were featured in this video, the community should go check you out. So if you're watching this video and you're not in the video, go to the comments section, see if there's some good new content creators you could check out from the video. But yeah, so Nico playing 3-3 Cinccino, 3-3 Urshifu vmax. Again, the heel jamming Mimikyu. Before I sat down to put these decks together and record the video, I did not think I'd be talking about heel jamming Mimikyu today, but 2 decks with over 100 tournament rep playing the heel jamming Mimikyu. I did not expect it. So in case you don't know what it does, the ability on Mimikyu just reads your opponent's benched Pokemon cannot be healed. So this stops Cheryl from healing benched Pokemon. It also stops Mallow and Lana from healing, since Mallow and Lana puts the Pokemon to the bench before the healing effect happens. So seems pretty good in decks like Urshifu and Dragapult that don't one-shot the opponent's Pokemon very often. But yes, when you're playing Cinccino, you can play a lot of cute stuff in the deck. You'll see that Nico is not playing any Pokemon. He's not playing any Professor's Research, my bad. But he's playing a heavy count of Birdkeeper. He's playing Reset Stamp, Karate Belt, Phoebe, Quick Ball, Pokecom, and Level Ball for that heavy consistency. So a really, really nice looking Urshifu deck that's not like a lot that I see out there. So pretty cool deck. I like to see the creativity flowing. Next, we've got another Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, and this is much more akin to the standard Urshifu VMAX decks I see out there from Justin Stites in North America with 106 tournament rep as well. This is the Jirachi build. You'll notice this one also has Phoebe, and Phoebe has a supporter card that when you play it during this turn, your Pokemon VMAX's attacks are not affected by effects on the defending Pokemon. So basically what that means is you can go through effects like the Decidueye's ability that walls off V's and VMAX's, and you could go through Zamazenta's ability that walls off VMAX Pokemon. So Phoebe is very useful if you think that Luke Metal is going to be around or Decidueye is going to be around. And Phoebe is meant to be paired with something that can reuse it, since you only want to play one. So these decks that play Phoebe will oftentimes play the Mewtwo Mind Report that gets supporters back. Next, we've got ADPZ from Zachary Cooper, North America with 111 tournament rep. This one is not playing hammers, so this is probably a little bit more like the ADPZ I would play if I was playing it. I also like the 3 to Dene 1 curlback count. I think that's optimal. Double Mawile, because Mawile is just kind of a crazy card sometimes. You could just ruin your opponent's game on turn 1 by dropping a Mawile, and it can also help you get around Decidueye every now and again if you can snag enough Pokemon out of their hand and just avoid the Decidueye altogether. Next, we've got Avarin from North America with 111 tournament rep with Psychic Mewtwo again. Psychic Mewtwo, like I said, it's strong, very hard to play, so it is rewarding because you have so many options. So if you pick up this deck, you can oftentimes just walk into just mindlessly using Horror House turn 1 or Clear Vision turn 1 and then realize you needed to save your GX attack for the end game. So if you're interested in this deck, I definitely suggest checking out either articles or YouTube videos or even streamers playing the deck and try to learn what you can from them, and then also play it a bunch yourself, because there's a lot of options. We have all these GX Pokemon that Mewtwo can copy, and you also have the utility supporters like Mallow and Lana and Guzma Hala in this deck. So like I said, strong deck. Avarin playing the Greninja GX, which I don't believe I've been seeing in other lists, but that gets to go through Decidueye. So if you're expecting Decidueye again, Greninja GX sounds like a good plan for this deck. Next, we have Josh Sproul from North America with 115 tournament rep, playing Eternatus VMAX. Now, what's interesting about this list is it plays Cynthia, Caitlyn, and Phoebe. I've seen Phoebe, like I said, it gets through Decidueye and Zamazenta for your VMAX decks. I've seen it paired with Palpad to reuse it, and I've seen it paired with Sable IV to reuse it in Eternatus VMAX decks. I have yet to see it paired with Syncate in Eternatus decks, and here we are seeing it. So Eternatus looking pretty typical. Eternatus usually plays 4 Crushing Hammer now, 9 energy of some combination, but that Cynthia Caitlyn is a cute pairing with the Phoebe, and it has earned Josh 115 tournament rep. Another Eternatus here earning 116 tournament rep. This one is more standard, like I mentioned, Phoebe with the Pal Pad combo. Other than that, the decks are almost identical. Still playing 9 energy, but a 6-3 split as opposed to the previous 7-2 split we saw on Josh's list. Next, we have another ADPZ by Chalo Zamorano in Latin America with 117 tournament rep. This one's only playing 1 Mawile GX, so probably going to be a lot weaker versus the Decidueye decks, the 2-2 Bat Dedenne split, and this one is also not playing hammers. But like I said, if hammers are working for you, keep going. It's just I like to use ADPZ as a deck that has one game plan, and that's just boss your opponent's support Pokemon and win as fast as possible. I don't feel crushing hammers helps with that game plan, but sometimes hammering your opponent can get you out of a poor start. Next, another ADPZ by Laura Durkin in Europe with 119 tournament rep. This one attacking in the Empoleon V, which is a great water attacker versus Victini VMAX and Charizard and Set to Scorch VMAX. Other than that, not too much different than the other ADPZ lists we've looked at so far today. Also keep in mind when looking at these ADPZ lists, the escape rope switch splits. So if you're considering playing ADPZ, you could take some influence from these decks about escape rope being pretty good in ADPZ, because sometimes anything on your opponent's bench is something that you want to bring up, and that means you don't have to play boss for the turn. We have more Psychic Mewtwo with Connor Foster in North America with 123 tournament rep. This one a little bit more standard and not playing the Greninja GX like Avarin was. I think I've talked about this deck enough. Psychic Mewtwo is really strong, and it's showing because it's popping up in this video so much. So yeah, either look out for it or play it yourself. More Eternatus VMAX. And the Assault Gate Hoopa was actually banned for a little while in PTCGO because there was a bug where it was not working correctly. And I believe Jake let me know that he replaced this Hoopa with the other Hoopa that did not have a glitch happening. Other than that, we got hammers, we got Phoebe, we got Palpad. Same old Eternatus. ADPZ from Andrew Hedrick in North America with 143 tournament rep. That's a lot of tournament rep. I believe he's like number 2 or number 3 in North America right now, maybe even number 1 if I'm mistaken. But yeah, pretty straightforward ADPZ, no hammers, just the 1 Mawile GX, which I'm going to say I do think the 1 Mawile GX is fine right now. I think not having Decidueye Tex is pretty fine right now because Decidueye is not very popular. It's not popping off. It's not performing well. The Phoebe for the decks that want to counter Luke Metal and Zamazenta V, they kind of have like a 2-for-1. They get the counter Luke Metal and Decidueye at the same time. ADPZ doesn't need to counter Luke Metal with Mawile the same way these other decks are countering Luke Metal and Decidueye with Phoebe. So you could play the second Mawile if you really like it, but I don't think it's necessary. And we have Francesco Caterino from Europe, 145 tournament rep with, look at that, more Psychic Mewtwo. The deck must be good. I think this goes to show players that know the deck are playing it, and it's also very strong. It combos, you know, Marnie with Night Watch, which can just win you games outright there. You can also win games outright with Horror House into Poltergeist. Like I said, strong deck. And now we'll look at my personal plays. So the 2 decks I've been using for my tournament keys so far in the Players' Cup 4, number 1 has been Pikarom. I've added 1 Stealthy Hood in here just to have a better matchup versus Urshifu VMAX Rapid Strike, since they are using the Mimikyu. I'm not in love with the Stealthy Hood, but I also don't think it's bad to play either. Pikarom is still one of the best decks. And my other pick is Orbital VMAX. This is what I've been playing for most of my keys. But as Luke Metal gets more popular, and then Luke Metal getting popular makes Fire more popular, that makes me want to play Orbital VMAX a lot less. In the first few days of Players' Cup events, I don't think Luke Metal was popular yet, so I was having a little bit of a better time with Orbital VMAX. So I think I'm more likely to be playing Pika or working on Mewtwo right now, but this past week I was all about Orbital VMAX, and if Luke Metal isn't being popular, then Orbital VMAX is pretty good. I wrote an article about it on my Patreon. I have a couple YouTube videos with it as well. And as for the hot text this week, I saw Phoebe being thrown into a fair amount of high performing decks on this video today. Like I said, Phoebe during this turn, damage from your Pokemon VMAX attacks is not affected by effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, so it goes through Zamazenta and it goes to Decidueye. Stealthy Hood, so your Mewtwo's kind of counter the Mimikyu Shadow Box. They also can't get Giratina, they can't get Zigzagoon. And then the Mimikyu heal jamming, which that's the surprise one this week. Your opponent's bench Pokemon can't be healed. That showed up twice on decks with over 100 tournament rep today. So Mimikyu heal jamming, very surprising hot tech for the week. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for daily Pokemon TCG content. Also check me out over on Twitter. That's where I reached out for players to submit their lists. So if you have over 100 tournament rep, go follow me on Twitter. I'll make a post like this again in like a week or so, asking for players that have not already submitted their list to send me their list if they want to be featured in the next episode of this series. So good luck playing in the Players Cup 4. Leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.